Good evening and welcome to Poland Daily. I'm Nicholas Richardson and this is the news. For the Russian government, human life has no value and no one counts except those in the Kremlin, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said, addressing the European Parliament. An emergency meeting of the European Council was held in Brussels, where EU heads of government discussed Russia's aggression against Ukraine, the economy and illegal immigration.
Undoubtedly, the number one topic of the European Council summit, which began today, is aid to Ukraine. The heads of state are taking up the issue of further arms supplies. A 10th package of sanctions is also on the table. This summit is unique because of the personal participation of Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky.
Russia must pay for the destruction caused and for the blood spilled. In the next days, we will propose the 10th package of sanctions. First, we will impose sanctions on a number of political and military leaders. But also, dear Volodymyr, we listened very carefully to your messages when we visited you last week in Kiev. We will target Putin's propagandists because their lies are poisoning the public space in Russia and abroad. You were insisting on that. We hear you. We will follow up, and we are going after them. Secondly, the package will include additional exports ban worth more than 10 billion euros. This will further starve Russia's military machine and continue to shake the foundation of its economy.
Poland and the Baltic states are urging other EU partners to support the demand to confiscate Russian assets. Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki has indicated that this is a mandatory element of future sanctions if they are to prove effective. We need to make very specific provisions that will show Russia that we are determined to fight for Ukraine's victory in this war. What does this mean? From our point of view, we emphasize the need to confiscate the assets of the Russian Federation and Russian oligarchs. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a huge resource of new resources, new money. Let's look at, as we say in Poland, two birds with one stone. On the one hand, justice served against the barbaric Russian aggressor, and on the other hand, funds that can come in to reduce the cost of electricity bills, gas bills, and money that can come in to rebuild Ukraine. 27 countries are also discussing the issue of Ukraine's membership in the European Union. Kiev is pushing to speed up procedures so that it can join the community later this year. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said that Ukraine today is fighting the most anti-European state in the world, and only victory for Ukraine will ensure lasting peace. As we return to Europe, we return home to ourselves. I stand before you to defend our right to return home. All Ukrainians of different ages, political views, social status, and religious beliefs, we all have a common European history behind us. Step by step, the Kremlin has been trying for many years to destroy what we perceive as our values. The future and destiny of Europe depend on all of us, on each of you. You are all strong. Each of you can influence in your own way our common destiny, our common victory. Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki met with Italian and Czech Prime Ministers Giorgia Meloni and Petr Fiala on the sidelines of the EU summit. The talks revolved around multidimensional support for Ukraine. The conductors of the member states will debate late into the night. The summit will last until tomorrow. From Brussels, Łukasz Żmuda, TV Republika.
Day 351 of the war in Ukraine. Russian troops are directing their main strikes to the east of Ukraine in an effort to capture the entirety of Donbass. They are currently intensifying attacks in the Luhansk region. Within the last 24 hours alone, the Ukrainian military has repulsed Russian attacks on 19 sections of the front.
At this point, the Kremlin has greater armored weapons capability than Ukraine's forces. However, the autumn weather has until recently prevented military vehicles from participating in frontline combat. The drop in temperatures, however, has made the roads more passable. The alliance does not get involved as an organization in this assistance, while individual member countries provide assistance to the extent that it fits into their policies. Institute for the Study of War experts estimate that Russia has regained the military initiative in Ukraine. In the Lugansk region, Russian forces have increased operational effectiveness. In addition, Russia is mobilizing hundreds of thousands of troops. Kiev is also announcing its counteroffensive. 24 European Union countries have offered training modules for 30,000 Ukrainian troops. The exercises are very intense. In 1 month, we learn things that take years to learn. We are very grateful to our instructors for how much effort they put into our training and how they motivate us when we are out of strength. French President Emmanuel Macron awarded Volodymyr Zelensky the Grand Cross of the Legion of Honor during his visit to the Élysée Palace. This is the highest decoration of the French Republic and was established in 1802 by Napoleon. The order was awarded in recognition of the Ukrainian president's heroism and commitment to his people. France and its European partners will help Ukraine win this war. I believe that this path will lead us to an international peace conference where top world leaders will gather. Since the beginning of this terrible war, Europe and its transatlantic allies have supported Ukraine financially, with humanitarian aid, and militarily. Deliveries of heavy artillery, air defense systems, and recent decisions on tanks only confirm this. Germany will deliver 2 Gepard guns and 6,000 missiles to Ukraine. Ukraine will also receive more than 100 Leopard-type 1A5 tanks. The tanks will arrive in the first or second quarter of next year. Chancellor Olaf Scholz insists Germany will support Ukraine as long as necessary. We strongly support Ukraine in defending its sovereignty, independence, and territorial integrity. Russia will not win this war. Kiev's political allies have stepped up their military aid in recent weeks, announcing more deliveries. In addition to tanks and armored vehicles, long-range weapons will arrive in Ukraine in the coming months. However, the F-16 multi-role combat aircraft remain a contentious issue. Discussion on this subject was going on last spring, and at that time, the concept was opposed by France and Germany. Currently, the Élysée Palace does not rule out handing over similar aircraft to the Dassault Mirage. In the coming months, time will definitely work against us. I am not talking about the present moment, but in a broader perspective. France and Germany have a say in the course of this war. I turn to you, Emmanuel. The sooner we get modern aircraft, and to you, Olaf, the more powerful our armored coalition is. The sooner this Russian campaign will end in failure and peace will return to Europe. I am grateful to you for starting down this path. Before heading to Paris, President Volodymyr Zelensky met King Charles III and Prime Minister Rishi Sunak in London. He also visited Ukrainian soldiers undergoing training in Dorset. British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak confirmed that Britain intends to expand the training program for the Ukrainian armed forces.
When it comes to fighter combat aircraft, of course, they are part of the conversation. Indeed, we've been discussing that today and have been previously, and that's why we've announced today that we will be training Ukrainian Air Force on NATO standard platforms, because the first step in being able to provide advanced aircraft is to have soldiers or aviators that are capable of using them. That is a process that takes some time. We've started that process today.
Although there are countries among NATO members that would be willing to donate fighter jets to Ukraine, the final decision lies with Washington. At this point, the United States is unequivocal on the issue.
Why are you against sending F-16s to Ukraine?
Because we should keep them here. That's a totally different situation.
Meanwhile, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken adds that weapons deliveries to Ukraine are being adjusted to Kiev's current needs, so Washington's decision on aircraft delivery may change in the future. Meanwhile, Ukrainian intelligence reports that Moscow will launch another invasion in the next 10 days.
Yesterday, Polish and Romanian rescue teams released footage of people being rescued from buildings damaged in the major earthquake that struck Turkey and Syria in the early hours of Monday morning. Videos released by Poland's State Fire Service showed multiple people being rescued from collapsed buildings, with a senior fire officer saying on Twitter that 8 people, including a family of 4, had been saved by Polish search and rescue workers. A team from the Romanian General Inspectorate for Emergencies said they had rescued a 16-year-old boy after a 20-hour operation during which a 4.2 magnitude aftershock hit. I just returned from the night shift with my colleagues. Fortunately, we managed to extract a 16-year-old young man alive and conscious and delivered him to the ambulance to be taken to the hospital. He had significant injuries to his limbs, but he was stable and conscious. All of us worked for more than 24 hours on this case, in 2 shifts, and we successfully got him out alive. It is one of the most important extractions of my life. So far, our team has extracted 4 people. They were stabilized and delivered to ambulance teams. Earlier today, NATO forces in Romania showed off the HIMARS rocket system as French, Romanian and United States troops took part in artillery exercises. The drills showcase the US-made high-mobility artillery rocket system, as well as the older multiple-launch rocket system. Both systems have seen use by Ukrainian forces during the Russian invasion of the country, and Kiev has praised HIMARS for battlefield successes, such as destroying Russian warehouses and command posts.
I want to emphasize the fact that we are glad as French soldiers to participate to this major exercise of artillery firing, which is the occasion to prove our interoperability with Romanian forces and US forces in a major exercise with our MLRS multi-launch rocket system.
US computer systems allow many different nations to communicate together, and so our 8th HIMARS Brigade today, we're able to synchronize multiple fire support systems into one single target, and the United States systems can translate different networks together to bring forth the firepower.
On Tuesday, the United States State Department approved the sale of $10 billion worth of HIMARS systems and rockets to Poland. The package includes 18 HIMARS launchers, 45 of the 185-mile range Army Tactical Missile System missiles, and more than 1,559 guided multiple rocket launch system rockets. The United States has rebuffed Ukraine's request for the ATACMS missiles, and Poland will not be allowed to transfer any to Ukraine without United States approval. That's the news. Thank you for watching. Stay with us for the weather, Poland Daily Business and more programmes. But from me, it's have a good night and a better tomorrow.